Yeah, lovely to have everybody here, and I think we're going to have an absolutely stunning day. Like Frankie mentioned early on, there's a stiff southeaster breeze that'll be blowing. So the guys will pick up a bit of problems going into the corners, and then possibly also a little bit of retardation going down the back straight down towards Pertamina Fastron.
While we're waiting, we see no safety vehicles at the tail end of the field, which is a little bit strange.
Right, so Phil Herald drops the 5-second board, the lights are on, and away they go, and Slade gets a rocket start going off there. Mononyane as well gets in there, he's lying in second ahead there of Max Munton. So Gebotso Mononyane gets in there nice and quickly up behind Slade van Niekerk. Let's see how this one's going to pan out as they exit there out of Block Coin Corner, work their way up the Bear straight up towards Castrol Corner, and it's Slade van Niekerk pulling away. Oh, he's got about a 1.5 gap over the rest of the field there as he dives there into Castrol Corner. Up behind him there, it looks like Max Munton's got ahead there of Gebotso, who's possibly dropping back, and they're moving their way there through the Landstem kink and on their way down to Damps.
Yep, into Damps Dip they go now, as here is the lead battle, but I say lead battle, Slade van Niekerk is disappearing in at the front end of the field now. And then there's that group of two just behind him, the duo that sits in second and third, being Max Munton. And just behind him, on that all-white bike, is that... Franco Fluff.
I think it's Franco Fluff that's in there.
We'll have to see as they go down into turn number 5, Cape Town corner. And yeah, there's a group of 5 bikes also coming down into the final corner on this first lap. Mind you, they're starting their first racing lap in just a moment, so we'll see what the battle looks like down into turn number 1.
Yeah, a whole gaggle of bikes there now, but here comes your leader, Slade van Niekerk. We're going to try and pick up the rest now as they come through. It looks there's definitely Max Munton, and the 45, Gebotso Mononyane, sits there in third place. He's going to be followed there by Adrian Solomon, who's climbed up the ladder. Abigail Boston, the first of the ladies in, and then Franco Fluch in P6, followed by Clint Munton, Lance Jonas, James Lade, Bradley Musto, Almay Mostert, and then Cody Riedlinghuis.
Yep, there's going to be some big battling here, and we can't forget about the 300s. I know Bradley Musto and James Late, who James Late does have a birthday today, so very happy birthday to that young man. But these two were hammer and tong last round, and they're going to go at it again in this second round of the season. So we'll definitely keep up with them. But back to the front, Slade van Niekerk, who qualified a 2.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, with doing a personal best of a 19.5 on a 650. Is leading the pack away by a good margin.
Well, he's leading on a margin, but having a look there as we watch him come up, there is Slade, and here comes the rest. There's Max Munton and Gebotso Mononyane sitting up behind him, and Max is closing down. He's definitely in there as well.
Yes, he is, in fact, as they go down the Killarney back straight towards Cape Town corner. We'll watch that battle as well between Adrian Solomon and Abigail Boston as they go in to turn number 5. We watch them lead out. There is van Niekerk from Munton, from Mononyane. And in fact, I think I was right in the fact that KJ is an international rider because he raced in Red Bull Rookie for 2 seasons,
over there,
but obviously back and a national champion in his own right as well. As they come down towards the start-finish line once again, it seems like Mononyane is sitting in third place at the moment. He was on the big stage, but he wants to come fight with the little boys back down in a national series.
Hello, the little boys are going to give you a blood nose. You talk about them like that. Nonetheless, there we watch them now going all lovely camera angle going into Castrol. You see them there, slam on the brakes, drop down through the gearbox, pitch it over, work your way through. And you've got to hang in tight because when you come out the corner, it's going to spit you out towards the outside. And that's where you've got to get on the gas to come back in towards Landstem King.
Yep, got to watch themselves out here. Even though the weather is not too much of a factor to play with, we've got a pretty brilliant conditions at the minute. As there we see 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then 7th and 8th being Munton and Jonas, Munton Senior and Jonas, as they go down into Sorrel Sweep now. That right-hander leads them on to the longest straight around the circuit.
Watch that gaggle there. There's Solomon, Boston, Flach, and Munton. That is Clint Munton. I'm thinking of Max now. Max is up front. He's having a hard charge there. But the boys come gaggling down the back straight here towards Pertamina Fastron corner. Watch him now as they lie in the embankment. It's actually a beautiful feeling going in there on a bike. You're laying in there and the lip is on your outside. As they come out now, and look at that stream of bikes all slipstreaming each other on their way down towards Block Coin corner.
Yep, trying to get the best draft that they can across the line to start another lap. And look at that, Boston on that Project 60 SA. Number 51 for the young lady, right on the case of Adrian Solomon on the Pool Kings, number 4, as just behind them as well. Franco Flach is coming into play on the 5. That train station bike is right on the case of those two ahead of him, and he hasn't been back. Besides the last round, he hadn't been back since 2023 after that big incident in turn number 2 that took 8 riders out. He's back once again and fighting pretty much for the top 4 in this first race.
Right, in your screen there goes Slade Finikak up behind him, Max Bunton, and Khobotso Mononyane comes up there behind them as they work their way up towards Sorrel Sweep. They are absolutely hurtling through there. Watch now on screen as Slade will get on the curb there as he comes out. Max as well. Khobotso using the curb and some as he comes. And they get on the gas, work their way down through the box into 6th gear, down towards Perdamina fast strong corner.
Yep, at a rate of knots for the 650s, and then hard on the brakes for the banked, very slow right-hander from your higher speed to one of your lowest speeds through the corner, but they do carry a hell of a lot of speed going through the final corner as we watch this group of 5 come into play once again from 4th down to 8th. There's Lance Jonas at the back end of this group. Then it is Munton just ahead, Flach, and then Bossen and Solomon there at the front of this group as they come in and out of frame and back into frame coming to the line. It's a 3-way battle for 4th, 5th and 6th at the moment, with Munton and Jonas just on their case as well.
Well, I can tell you what, I think Clint must be having an absolute blast there ahead of Lance Jonas. Clint Munton rolling back the years there now into block coin corner, working his way out on the left-hander, up onto the ridge and make their way up the Uber straight up towards Castrol corner. Watch now as they flare out on the brakes, and I tell you what, not too shabby there as Solomon and Flach are having a good little bit of a tussle. Yeah, your first place man goes through to the left there. That is Slade van Niekerk. Up behind him, Max Bunt, and then Khobotso Mononyane works his way through up towards the Sorrel Sweep. That double right-hander now as they pitch it over as the rest of the field come out of damps.
Yep, if there's a chance we can tune back to the 300s as well as they go down towards turn number 3. There's a hefty battle going on in the 300s classes down into Dam's Dip, but we'll look towards this group as well. It is still 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Munton has dropped off the back end of Lance Jonas at this point in time, so he's still just, as you say, rolling back the years now.
So they work their way now into Perdamina fast on, and that battle there, Solomon, Flach, Bossen, all in it there on the Project 60 bike. That's Abigail Bossen, and they come out now up the City of Cape Town Porsche straight and get on the gas nice and hard. They launch Jonas ahead of some of the 300s. They're working their way through. The leaders, now that's your 300s that are coming in there now. There's your 300s. I think that is Leighton Musto. Yeah, James Leighton, Bradley Musto are carving each other up badly, but that has come from last year already.
Absolutely, this has been an ongoing case. I was going to say an ongoing friendship, but this is a competitorship, if anything, between these two, and it's still ongoing. In fact, I've been waiting to get to this battle as I've seen them lapping right up close with each other, but we'll join back with them in a little bit. There is Slade van Niekerk that goes through 3.1 seconds ahead at this moment in time, ahead of Munton and Mononyane as they come into picture now and down the Killarney back straight once again with 2.5 laps left to go.
Speaking of Max Bunton, he has matured over the years. He started at short circuit, he's come into main circuit, he's in the shadow of his father, but he's doing exceptionally well now as we watch now Solomon, Flach, Bossen and Jonas and Lake go through there now, working their way through. Yeah, Clint Munton still in there behind Lance Jonas.
Yeah, we watch them come into the final corner once again. It'll be 2 laps to go as the leader crosses the line, and that's a big switch up there. That looks like Abigail Bossen. It's now fallen behind Lance Jonas. If my facts are correct, it may be the other way around, in fact. It may just be Franco Flach that was sitting in that spot behind Adrian Solomon, and it was. It's Abigail Bossen and Franco Flach that have changed position going down into turn number 1.
Well, Abby will be very happy. That's got, oh, someone runs a little bit wide. I think it might be Franco. Yeah, Franco gets a little bit of got a bit of a brake issue, a tyre issue there. Looked totally out of sorts, and he's lost 2 or 3 places now. But Abby Bossen up to P5 behind Adrian Solomon. Brilliant stuff there. As we watch now into going into turn 1 block coin corner, it's going to be James Late and Bradley Musto. Late getting in the upper hand on Bradley, and I'm sure Bradley will want to come back at him hammer and tongs.
Yep, I think between these two, James Late will want to take the win for the day on his birthday, and Bradley will want to stop that from happening.
Can I interject? Are we getting cake today? That's the thing.
I don't know. I think maybe only if he wins.
Only if he wins, okay.
Bradley will try and go around the outside into turn number 2, but we'll move back to the front end once again. with this being Munton and Mononyane for second and third. as they come
Kapotso's
out.
got beautiful corner speed coming out there, right up behind Max Munton, and he's going to draft him. We're going to have to watch him draft him down towards Block Coin Corner. That is going to be a spectacular ride. Is Kapotso going to step out now, down the main straight? Kapotso's there, late on the brakes is Max Munton, and does not afford Kapotso that opportunity.
Yep. KJ needs to remember that this is Max's track between the two of them, and even though he had that speed, Max knows this better than either of them. But that national and international pace of KJ Mononyane is really showing. Let's look once again, the dive between these two. Let's look and see. That's Flach and Jonas once again. Franco Flach just trying to make up that time that he lost in both those moments in turn 5 and in turn number 1, as there is Solomons and Boston still fighting out for that 4th place overall.
Abigail Boston is stepping up the pace. She's right up behind. Oh, and Abigail Boston slips around the outside of Adrian Solomon. They're going down towards Dams. Oh, I tell you what, she went a little bit loud and had to apply some brakes as the leaders come through the sorrel sweep on screen. And Max Bunton and KJ Mononyane having a lovely time. KJ steps out. KJ steps out. He's going to have a look. He's going loud in the brakes, but I think Max Bunton has got the upper hand there. Possibly not, or dive across his bow. And KJ looks like has he done it? KJ Mononyane, I think, has got ahead of Max. Has he done it? Oh, it's difficult to see. And is it flag time? Flag time. Slade takes the win, but here we go. Max Munton, KJ Mononyane. Oh, man, they are literally nose to tail. Brilliant stuff there up over the line. And what a race coming out of those three.
KJ could quite literally smell the fumes coming off that number 14 bike. And I mean, both the bike and Max himself. There's another battle to the line between Solomons and...
Oh, it's photo finish.
Between Boston by 1,000th of a second is coming across the line as well. Flach and Jonas come across the line nose to tail as well, with Clint Munton on his return back in 8th place. 1,000th of a second.
That is absolute. That was actually wheel-to-wheel stuff. I think they just got to place their transponders differently next time
it might
around.
just be the case. It might just be the case. I wish we had, I don't know if we have a finish line slow-mo camera for some of the classes, and it would be nice to see one of those.
Yeah. No, great. And it looks like James Late's going to have the upper hand on Bradley Muster. So...
yeah, it looks like something happened on that final lap that just threw him off ever so slightly. Shakes his head coming across the line, so he may have made a small error on that final lap.
Well, that reminds me, and I don't like to bring up personal past, but I remember we had an all-bike day, and my son Jared raced against his uncle Martin. Yeah, it's his birthday. Raced against his uncle Martin Petzold, coming in the little 150s over the line, and Martin's hanging over the fairing, and I said to him afterwards, it's the transponder's not in your helmet, Bruce, on the bike. But yes, it's fun. But 1,000th of a second, how close can you get? I think that was a great ride from Abby.
That was brilliant. And she dropped down one position behind Franco Flach when he was still fighting with him. She lost a little bit off at one point during the race, and she managed to claw it back. And oh my goodness, I think she's going to be beating herself up a little bit because she was right there to beat Adrian Solomon. But it just, quite literally, just was not enough.
And Adrian is absolutely no slouch. So big up to Abby. I'll tell you, that was a great ride. Yeah, no, great stuff.
Yeah, last year's champion, the previous year, 2024's 400 champion was Adrian Solomon. So a brilliant ride from Slade van Niekerk, making it a 1:19.781 to take the victory in race number 1.
Well, I'm going to step back.
You may.
Yeah, and I think Sports and GT up next. I don't know who's going to be calling that one, but it's been great. David Christie puts his hand up with glee, says, it's me, it's me, yes. Yeah, the Scotsman all the way from Knockhill is going to be commentating. Great stuff. Well, Geordie, that was... For my first race of the day, my blood's flowing again. I think it was great.
Bike race of the day. I think that was a proper show.
They've set the tone. They've set the tone, yeah.
So the other two bike classes have something to do for
I'm going to step down, guys. We'll chat a bit later.
Well, next up will be the Warwick Wealth Sports and GT's race number 1. And Warwick Wealth, as we wait for them to come out onto the circuit, is investment specialists, financial planners and wealth management. The CEO is Mark Visser and the chairman is in fact Ian Kilbride. The Spirit Foundation, established by the Kilbride family, the platform for 3 charitable foundations, namely Spirit Education, Spirit Community and Spirit Wildlife. They've been established enviable track record of assisting worthy causes that have impacted in positive and meaningful ways in the lives and projects of their supporters. So fantastic stuff as we see some of the replays coming up of our previous bike race, 650s and 300s.
So as we get the replays then of that last thrilling bike race that took it all the way through to the line here, we get ready for another absolutely stellar race from the Warwick Wealth Sports and GTs. Of course, last round was a bit of a mixed affair, really. Race 1 saw David Joubert take victory with a 16.7 second margin over Gary Kiesvetter's advanced packaging technology entry, and he also set the fastest lap of the weekend, 1:08.779. So there is pace in this track. Rob Franco took the B-class honours in 3rd overall, and he held off Divan Wenzel by just over a second, while Wayne Hoffman completed the B-class podium in 5th position overall. However, it was turned all on its head after a lap 1 huge incident for race 2, and Wayne Hoffman and picking the bits up left of that beautiful Porsche. Thankfully, Wayne is absolutely A-OK, and we cannot wait to see him back with us and out there racing. A little bit sore, but he will take a few weeks to get back behind the wheel on that one. But the battle behind